How did you enter China? How could you come back? What's up guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kaisa and I make videos about my life here in China. I'm actually not at home. I'm in the quarantine hotel in Shanghai. I live in Beijing, but we arrived here in Shanghai about 1.5 weeks ago. So I'm lost in counting which day of quarantine it is today. But anyways, we are doing our 14 days quarantine here since we entered China from Finland. And that's what is required in China. We also uploaded a video about how we traveled from Finland to China. You might want to check it out first before watching this video. And that video caused a lot of questions from you guys. So since we got a lot of questions, I might not be able to answer all of them, but I try my best, and also before the sun goes down and I don't have any more light to film with. So the most asked question definitely was, how did you enter China? How could you come back? Like, isn't there a travel ban for foreigners to China? And the answer is yes. You are absolutely right. There is a general travel ban for foreigners to enter China that was introduced around late March, and it's still valid. So most foreigners cannot enter China. However, there are a number of exceptions to this rule. So the exceptions are listed on the website of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of China, so you might want to check the list out if you are considering whether or not you have a chance to come back to China as a foreigner. So I do not have a Chinese passport. My husband Ampi, he has a Chinese passport, so he could come here as a Chinese citizen, and me myself, I had a valid visa. That's how we entered here. I'm running out of light. Okay, I was running out of light way faster than I thought, so I just switched a little bit so I could have the table lamp as a background lighting. Anyways, so where was I? So yeah, question number 2. How can you be together in the same room with your husband during the quarantine? Good question. So at the beginning we were separated into 2 different rooms with my husband. We had to stay that way for 1 day, and the second day we got our negative test results, and after that we got the permission to stay in the same room. So they didn't automatically give it to us, but after quite a lot of fighting with the local authorities and the hotel staff, they allowed us to stay in the same room. So I think it might depend on where you are doing your quarantine. There is a lot of powers delegated to the local level of decision making. Like, it might be as low as your compound where you're living that makes the decision whether one family, for instance, can stay in the same room during the quarantine. Zuki asked, can you kindly stipulate the quarantine costs, if any? You have to pay for the quarantine yourself. It's not for free, so the hotel cost around 300 RMB per day, and the meals cost 50 RMB per day, including 3 meals, breakfast, lunch and dinner. Ty Windsor asks, how expensive was the flight? Just curious if it was multiple times or just a little bit more expensive than normally. It was multiple times more expensive than normally a plane ticket. George Liu, I love that you always comment on my videos. You asked that, can you choose which foods you want? So the answer is no, you cannot. They basically offer you a menu that always indicates which foods you're gonna get, like for each meal. You cannot choose them yourself. However, in this hotel you can order home delivery. In some hotels I think they don't allow you to order home delivery. Oh my god, that's a difficult word. So you can order home delivery and eat whatever you want. We just ordered McDonald's, and oh boy, I was so happy to finally have something else than the quarantine food. Oh my god, I'm so happy. Finally something else to eat than the quarantine food. Nice. I think there are 2 schools of thought. Some people like these very soft. I prefer these very soft French fries, And then some people like these kind of hard ones, crispier ones. Comment down below which one you like more. Then a pretty random question from our last video. Young Han asks, how did you convince your husband to put on that green baseball cap? Is he Chinese? Normal Chinese guy will never wear a hat in that color. I actually didn't know that, and Ambi just bought the cap from the airport, the accessories, whatever store we just passed by at the airport. That was the only shop open at the airport, and I don't know, I think Ambi just liked the picture. He's not a baseball fan. I'm sorry, you all baseball fans out there, but you know, he just chose it because I guess it reminds him of Finland because there's a deer or something. But according to the Chinese proverb, if a man wears a green hat, it means that his wife is cheating on him. What? Which I had no idea. And no, I'm not cheating on Ambi. Definitely not. I'm in the quarantine and I would never do that anyways. So I don't think, you know, the color matters that much, and Ambi didn't remember the proverb himself either, so it doesn't refer to that. But thanks for pointing out that. So now I know why people would look at us very strangely if he's wearing the green hat and I'm being with him. Then the last question I'm gonna answer is from H. Weng. Did you need to have a health QR app activated on your phone prior to the boarding? Does it work if you have a foreign passport? I'm having a hard time to go through the registration process. So yes and no. I mean, we booked the tickets about a week before boarding the plane, and after maybe a couple of days, I think, we received an SMS saying that you should download this health app and report 14 days prior to the departure your body temperature. And since we bought the tickets like just a week before the flight, so I had to contact the airline company and ask them what are we supposed to do. They said that that's okay, like for me as a foreigner, that I don't have to download it before boarding the flight. However, in Shanghai, once we landed, we had to download several health applications on our phone, and they all ask the same information and you have to fill it in several times during the day of your landing. And I also found out that like the Chinese cities, they have different health applications depending on the city, so they are not like integrated system and everybody using the same health app, but they all seem to have different apps. So in Shanghai, they are using like a health code that you can get through Alipay, and I think in Beijing they are using an app called Health Kit, and you can download that on WeChat, or it's like a mini app within WeChat, so you should use that if you're going to Beijing. But that concludes all the questions. I filmed some random material during some quarantine days. I didn't feel like filming every day because I was mainly working, so it's not very exciting content for you to see, but you know, since I promised I'm gonna film something here, and maybe you're interested in how your, I don't know, mental health goes when you're staying in the quarantine for 14 days and how it looks like. So I'm gonna insert some clips here. Finally, it's a pretty morning in Shanghai. The sky is clear and you can see almost all the way to the Bund. Good morning, guys! It's a quarantine day number 6, I think. Yeah, I thought I'm gonna make a little vlog video of my quarantine life. Actually, I think these past 5 days we've spent here in the quarantine have gone by very fast because I've been working every day, so actually I haven't had that much time to procrastinate or just feel, you know, anxious or something. I don't know. I've been really busy, so I think that might help a little bit to deal with the anxiety to be, you know, locked down in one room for 14 days. I think many of you also might be staying in quarantine, like the real hardcore quarantine, like when you can't leave the room. I mean, these these windows we have here, like they are glass walls, so we can't even open the windows. In Shanghai, they forbade using the air conditioning, so we don't get any fresh air here. That's probably the #1 thing that is like really making me feel bad. I show you guys, this is the situation that's going on here. They have a full-on carpet, which is not cleaned after January. It is dusty as... I don't want to say it, but you know it. We finally got a vacuum cleaner. So I don't think this is as new as they claim it to be. Dear God, it's almost black. This is how much dust which is vacuumed. It's full. And we got a round 2. Now it's emptied. It's 31.2 currently. Shower time. Yay! Our food arrived. Sorry for the mess. 好吃吗？
还可以。
你吃什么呢？
丝瓜、茄子、青菜，这个应该是
鸡肉嘛。
猪肉吧。猪肉吧，外面裹了什么东西。
Lately, I've been really addicted to sparkling water. It's just, you know, gives that little extra refreshing feeling, especially when it's like over 30 degrees here in the room. I've been watching quite a lot YouTube videos lately, and I think that's the case for most of us, since, you know, there's not that much of entertainment outside your own home. And quite many YouTubers say that they feel somehow more productive if they put on makeup, so I'm gonna try that today because I haven't actually put on makeup lately almost at all. To be honest, I think it's not necessarily the best idea here when it's, you know, above 30 degrees and you can't turn on the air conditioner. I'm actually having a fan behind the camera. I don't know if I think it actually blows the camera a little bit, so I might have to turn that off because, you know, if the quality suffers that much, so, you know. Right. So there is no air conditioning in this hotel, or actually I think in many parts of China they have forbidden to use air conditioning. However, there is something coming out of the air conditioner, like some air, and it's not cold, so it's definitely not fresh air that's coming from outside. So I don't know where that air comes from, but it's not making the room much cooler, but at least there's a little bit of, you know, air circling around, so it eases up a little bit the feeling. Then they also gave us an extra fan, so you would have a little bit of that feel of breeze on your face. I didn't bring my tripod with me. Normally I would take that with me when I travel, but this time I was thinking, you know, I went to Finland and I'm gonna be there just a couple of weeks for business trip, so I don't have time for filming. However, things turned out pretty differently, so we ended up staying 2 months in Finland, and I've done a couple of videos. I may link them here while in Finland, and I'm sorry for the quality because I haven't had the tripod, so, you know, it's been quite shaky. Right now you're sitting on a lamp book and a kind of tea, it's not teapot, but like a little box where Ambi keeps his tea leaves on. Okay, I'm blabbering, so I'm just gonna do my makeup and I'll talk to you afterwards. got the makeup done. What time is it now? It's 3:30 p.m. So I thought I might, shed a little light on what is it like to be in the centralized quarantine in China. So this for us according to the place you are located in China. So for instance, if you take a flight to Beijing, currently they're still all diverted into, I guess, around 11 different provinces or different cities around China, so you can't directly access Beijing. We took a flight actually directly to Shanghai because we just couldn't get tickets to those planes that went to Beijing. We had, and I'm not lying, around 10 tickets to Beijing, and each of the flight tickets got cancelled by the airline company. So we just realized that it's impossible to go to Beijing right now, at least from Finland. And also, if you take a transferring flight, you might face some quarantine restrictions in those countries where you're transferring a flight. So we took the only flight that there still is flying between Finland and China, and that is Junior Airlines from Helsinki to Shanghai. We flew on Sunday and arrived in Shanghai on Monday. And directly from the airport, they took us to this centralized quarantine hotel. We cannot go back home. They don't allow us to do the quarantine at home, so we do it in the hotel. 14 days we are locked in this room. So all in all, I'd say the circumstances are not the worst, I guess, in sense that this is a hotel. It's still rather comfortable, we have a big bed there. If I list the good sides, it's okay hotel. I think it used to be a good hotel maybe 5 to 10 years ago, but it's a little bit worn down, but still, it's comfortable enough. There is enough space, I'd say, in a sense that it's not the smallest room you could have, because I was a little bit afraid that if we get that kind of business hotel where you just have the bed and then a table and tiny toilet and that's it, then you couldn't do any sports at all. So we have slightly bit space actually just right behind me where we can do like very simple workouts. If you're interested, we can make a little bit workout video as well, or I might include a clip here somewhere where Ambi does some workout. I admire that strength and determination. So those were, I think, the good sides. Downsides is then the temperature. I've been already complaining quite a lot. And the second thing was that when we got here, the room was not cleaned. After 5 long days, we finally got the vacuum cleaner, and it's slightly bit cleaner now. I have to say the vacuum cleaner was not meant for this type of carpet. It was probably meant for floor cleansing, like the solid type of floor, but it did the job mostly. That's about it, I think. Some good tips if you're gonna go through some centralized quarantine in China or quarantine in general, like make sure that you have some sort of means to do sports, like because we cannot go out, we cannot go for a walk. There is no way we could take care of our health unless we had like some simple sports gear, like at least sports clothing, and it would be a good idea to have a yoga mat or something because of the floor. Then a skipping rope might be a good idea, or whatever it is that you do for keeping yourself active despite the fact that you're locked in a one room. Not every day is a happy day, and not every moment feels easy. Right now I feel good. Maybe this makeup thing really made me feel good. All the YouTubers say that they keep on routines that keep themselves, productive and active or something. Right now I feel like not bad. Maybe it's the makeup or maybe it's the cleaning. Anyways, so after this quarantine video, hopefully, I would get back to some normal life in China type of content. Leave me a comment down below what you would like to see and hear from China. What is that interests you right now? and I could make a video about the topic. Make sure that you also like this video and subscribe for upcoming videos so you can follow my journey back home in Beijing. We will be definitely making more content with Ambi together because many of you have requested that. So maybe next video will be together with Ambi. Until that, bye bye!